to what they call repeatedly stolen gas. There is nothing, this is just a pressure movement. It automatically will flow. They could not exploit for years, which is why this allegation of an automatic flow, which is more by pressure, nothing to do.
When we talk of block, it's a geographical area.
Yes. First, let me give your lordships in just 5 minutes the heads of arguments I intend to make. I'm just giving lordship the respective heads. So first, I would like to oralize about the nature of this contract, what happens in a production sharing contract. And then link to it a very important aspect of a huge risk, huge investment scenario. The ecosystem is based on huge risk and huge investment, which is why the government of India, by a policy decision of wide-ranging ramifications, decided to invite, because here the figures of investment are mind-boggling, and the government did not want to invest in these things so that it could free up money for other social welfare activities. So they invited private participation, and only a few top companies could go in because the investment initially and for a considerable period of time is huge. The risk is even higher. As for example, I'll be going to the details. I'm just giving out the heads of argument.
Yes, yes.
Out of 45 blocks, we are concerned with KGD6 block. There's one block. In that one block, we are concerned with fields D1 and D3. But like KGD6, there are 44 other blocks.
Every block has sub-blocks.
Various fields. Various fields. We are concerned only, in this case, with one block and two fields in that block. But I am now talking of the risk. In this very case, 44 other fields, this is the 45th field. After investing billions, as in B, in dollars, they failed to yield. There are three steps. One is exploration, then there is development, and then there is extraction of production. By the time you reach the production stage, there is a huge risk that there is nothing worth extracting. And the investment you made in the first two stages of exploration and development are wasted. I will be coming to a two-pager I made on this, but just to give you some striking figures. In all 45 together, the investment is over $23 billion. In this, 44 are written off. 44 have produced no oil. No finding. And then
44 are in a way unsuccessful exploration.
In terms of production is concerned. No, exploration has been invested in. Development has been done. But they have found, it's only after exploration development I find that there's nothing worth extracting. And we have then spent more than $7.5 billion in this KGD6 field. And ultimately, all three of us put together, there are a lot of steps, I first extract where it is successful. After extraction, the first thing is sharing. First thing is, excluding the cost. So the cost is very high. So 100 rupees I extract. Cost of 40 is taken from that. That's very high. Balance 60 is first shared between me and the government, the learned AG's client. That's why it's a sharing. In addition to sharing, I have paid royalty in addition to him. Then what I get my share after cost, which is a huge reduction, I share amongst the three of us in our internal sharing. But there again, there are taxes to the government. In this particular case, for example, we got as Profit Petroleum, all three of us, because we are three independent co-claimants. That's one of the issues of law. Independent co-plaintiffs in a suit, independent co-claimants in an arbitration. Completely. There's no consortium in that sense. The word is used loosely. We're independent claimants. We have shares. I'll get X%, he'll get Y%, he'll get Z%. Totally, we get a Profit Petroleum of 644 million on an investment of 7.5 billion on this alone, which is a very small rate on the international market of 4 to 5%. And the government's claim is 2.8 billion. The government spends no penny. Under the exploration policy, I'm invited. I invest 7.5 billion. I share the costs. I first exclude the costs. Then I share the petroleum. Then I share royalty with him. Thereafter, I get 644. The government's claim here is 2.8 billion, which is more than 4 times the 644. Now I'll come to the details later of this. The main thing to remember here is that there are very few people coming in front with this kind of deep investments over a long period of time. And what happens in this is, if your lordship will take right away, in fact, since we are doing this, kindly give this chart of Mr. Sanjay Roy. It'll be easier just to get a context. It's only context. 3 copies. 3 copies. And give it to the other side. Give it. This is just contextual. I was going to come to it later, but since your lordship is in the context, just see the figures. In fact, Wallace, this private invitation and the success of it, whether on the western side or the eastern side, has made India proud because Wallace, we have to then sell also at a price fixed by him. That price fixed by him at which I sell is 1/3 the international price. It helps the government to subsidize all the fertilizers, etc., where oil goes. But let me put it, Wallace, in a very simple way in this note, some parts of it. The cutting part is shown. I don't have the way to find it. Now, Wallace, prior to the NELP, more than 85% of my sedimentary basins, our India's were unexplored. This is very important. I'll give you context before I come to the list of dates. 85% were unexplored, deep water and frontier areas. Exploration was largely undertaken by PSUs. ONGC was the chief. Gas Authority was another one. Given India's energy import dependency, investment and technology was the need of the hour. New exploration licensing policy, NELP. This is a very revolutionary thing in those days, so it was introduced. The preamble I'll be showing in a while, Malas. Exploration blocks were awarded via competitive bidding and successful bidders executed production sharing contracts. So PSCs, pursuant to an invitation of Malas, very heavy investment. With our partners, Malas, we won 45 blocks. This is important. And have invested 23.5 billion. This is taking all 45 together. Lordship is concerned with one block in this case. It's the largest private investment ever in India, exploration and production sector. The exploration risk alone, that is only exploring, cost 3.5 billion. It's all dollars. Written off. The returns, which come ultimately, is 4.5%. Well below the global exploration and production sector average of 20 to 24%. Then what is the PSC framework? That is a production sharing contract. Contractor bears 100% of the cost and the risk. So large cost, large risk because of gestation lag period and an expiry over a long period of time. You strike it much later. As this case, it starts in 2001, 2003 and we get only at 2009 and then we produce. Government contributes zero capital, assumes zero risk, bears no financial burden, and receives three things for this. Royalty, profit petroleum, which is the share of the government. It's shared between him and me. And taxes, which I have to pay on what share I receive. So all three of us receive 644 million, we'll pay taxes direct and indirect. The contractor, that is I, get the entire cost recovery. Now this all cost is recovered under a heavy committee of high-powered people who do accounting, auditing 10 times over. Every part of it, if you sneeze, there is a full committee sitting on auditing. So this cost petroleum, which is the first dot under the word contractor, is the recovery of the contract costs, exploration, development, production, and royalty from contract revenues. Profit petroleum is the revenue which you earn less the cost petroleum. You've got my dot contractor in the middle of that page, the word contractor. Yes, there are CINII. I'm on C, contractor. You've got that note.
This note?
Yes, it says KG6 on the top. Yeah. So your lordship has got one of those figures I gave you lordships in D. 1D is the figure that I just mentioned. And now 1B, that's for us, numerical 1B, is the government contributes zero capital, zero risk, no financial burden. And shares royalty, profit petroleum, shares and taxes. The contractor, that is I, all three of us collectively, get cost petroleum, which is recovery of the contract costs of exploration, development, production. And we get profit petroleum, which is revenue less cost, which is shared between the contractor and the government. Now, Lordship did not get into details. The share of the government increases as time goes on. And it's the investment multiple increases. That Lordship did not by a formula. Management Committee, MC, in para D. It's a very strong, high-powered committee. Every part is scrutinized, checked, audited, reviews and approves, chaired by Government of India nominee, and has representatives of our side. The names are given. The government reps have a veto power, and all field development plans, work programs, budgets, costs are reviewed and approved by the management committee. There is nothing which anybody can do without this committee's approval. As I said, you can't sneeze without their approval. So it's not that the lordship has anybody. Please remember, the final thing which I share with them, I sell in the market. There is also a price fixed by them that is 1/3 to 1/4 the price, international price, which is why it helps India in doing the fertilizer subsidy, the power sector, etc. I'll come to that. Now, PSC was executed on 12th April 2000 under the first round of the NE. So our relationship started in 2000. The D1, D3 field, now look, this D1, D3 field, Your Lordship will mark, is in this one block Your Lordship is concerned with, KG D6. The one block is called KG D6. In that, we are concerned with these fields only. This is discovered in 2002. After the initial entry in 2000, it took 6 years of exploration and development to come into production, then roughly in 2008-9. Now, this was, unlike several others, is called an ultra deep water project, which increases the risk manifold and the cost, because an ultra deep water exploration. Technical wells, reservoir located 2000 meters below the seabed in water depths exceeding 1100 meters at the frontier of subsea engineering. No operator had produced gas from a comparable combination of water depth, reservoir depth, and Bay of Bengal geological complexity when gas was first achieved in 2009. In fact, one of the issues here will be they gave similar adjacent blocks to OPC, which is their arm, and to other authorities. They could not exploit for years, which is why this allegation of an automatic flow, which is more by pressure, nothing to do
When we talk of block, it's a geographical area.
Yes, it's a defined geographical area, and in that D1 and D3 are fields which are discovered. I'm
And
just
all
saying,
these blocks are in the sea.
yes, 2000 meters below, ultimately below the sea. Ultimately.
I've quickly gone through this note. Good to say that you've done a great service for the nation. This case is not about how much you invested and how much you got
Right,
back.
allow me to set the
Case is on a
context.
very narrow basis. I don't know how all is going to be relevant for your lordship's adjudication of this matter. Playing a large canvas about how much I invested, so what return I got, etc. Absolutely no connection with the case at all.
I'll be showing it has a direct
There's
connect.
two blocks. ONGC had a block.
Direct connect.
They had a block. Gas migrated. You virtually committed a theft of my gas, and you're accountable for that. That's about all.
It's, whereas this is an oversimplification of an oversimplification. But anyway, allow me to give the contextual setting. I only started. You'll have to be patient till at least tomorrow afternoon, Malas. I'm going to take some time in this matter. Now, Malas, just 2.5 pages to complete the context. Then I'll give you Lordship the headings, which I'm going to be arguing. Your Lordship's query, Chief Justice's query. This is the seabed, which is demarcated on the top with that block. So this is my block, this is that ONGC block, etc. When you extract, you work only on your seabed.
But no artificial barrier is there between the two definition of blocks, right?
No, cannot be, Malas.
It's only coordinates.
Yeah, coordinate.
As per the longitude and
Because your Lordship is standing 2000 meters above.
This
This seabed is down 2000 meters. So they cannot be by definition. It's not an enclave. One of the issues which I'm only anticipating a lot of things is going to be the fact that when you actually do this, ONGC did not do anything at the same time it got. It did nothing, could not do anything. So when you extract by a natural process of pressure, when I'm going to have a lower pressure here, from the nearby sea block, some oil will always flow and migrate. That has nothing to do with voluntariness, deliberation, intent. I'm anticipating my argument. That becomes a major bugbear with them who add it to what they call repeatedly stolen gas. There is nothing This is just a pressure movement. It automatically will flow. If well, I am exploiting they are not. And the beauty is, let's assume, my block is 100 units of extraction. I got 105 units because 5 flowed involuntarily from the ONGC block. It will always flow from high pressure to low pressure area. The beauty of this case is that for the same 105, the cost petroleum I have to incur, which they supervise. The profit petroleum, only the government gets. That ONGC oil is also government. Gas is also government's. It's the same receiver. It's the same person who gets a profit petroleum. It's the same person who gets royalty and cash. So assume there is 5 units extra. It is going to the owner. I have not gone into the field to extract. Now they make much about it. I'll be coming to that. Let's complete this note. 1 page is done. 2 more pages. The reservoir is located 2000 meters below seabed, bottom of page 1, exceeding 1100 at the absolute frontier of subsea engineering. No operator had produced gas from a comparable combination of water depth, reservoir depth, and Bay of Bengal geological complexity when gas was first achieved, including ONGC. I don't know if it started even now or much later they did start.
No, not even.
Geology, now? Keep him here, na? Keep a person here. Just recently started, after decades. Geology, you know, she forgets those two. Come to capital and operational performance.
Even crane energy.
Answer quickly immediately, that's all. So no touching that.
Yes, sir. The VSPC failed. Crane energy.
Here you're going ahead of the story. This only started. 2A on the next page. Capital and operational performance. Now, we come to 2A. Contractors spent 7.4 billion. Exploration, development and production cost entirely at my risk. No sovereign backing, no concessional financing, no recourse against government on failure. All wells drilled strictly within the contract area, question Lordship just asked. Each well location and trajectory approved by MC. Now, this is the most heavily regulated. As I said, if you go to sneeze also, you have to take permission. Everything is regulated. Nothing is done by you. Gas sold exclusively to Mr. AG's client, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Or to their nominated, Lordship knows, there is a policy in India where gas or oil is supplied at concessional prices to 3 sectors, which are priority sectors. The government of India says they are fertilizer, power and city gas. So either I supply to ministry or I supply to these directly on their instructions. At sub-market government determined prices, the import price is $7.2 upwards. I do it at $2.8 upwards. I've given the 2 figures. That's about 1/5. Again controlled by them. And this is what I get left after I share with them and I pay them royalty. This is the sale in the market. All data and technical information submitted on ongoing basis. All government dues, royalty, profit petroleum, indirect tax and corporate tax paid in full and on time. Of the 254 PSCs, para 3, that is production sharing contracts executed across 9 new exploration policy, that means any LP is a new policy. Barely 10 have reached commercial production. Please look at the death rate, the survival rate, and the risk rate. These may be inconvenient to the learned AG. It's vital for my client. For his client, it may be just to be brushed aside. I take all this effort. KG D6 by far is the most significant producing block amongst these. D1, D3, that is the one we are concerned about within KG D6, is the pioneering deep water development and production in India and created a deep water world-class hub infrastructure for the first time in India. Lordship has different considerations for deep water. We delivered 2.3 trillion cubic feet. Next line. C. At prices determined by him. In that 2.3 million cubic feet, trillion cubic feet, I first give him royalty. Then I share the gas. Of my share, I sell to persons he nominates and I sell at a price he fixes. And then on the money I get, I pay taxes. Please see the larger national interest. In addition, the contractor has commissioned 4 deep water fields. These are not in this case, which are the maximum by any contractor in India. And currently, this 1 kg D6 block, which your Lordship is considering, contributes 30% of India's domestic gas production. It's the single largest success story. One field, 44 failed. One field is giving 30%. It's something to be proud of, and I'm accused of theft. with deepest respect. I have to make this, Malus, I have to develop this when I go along. Then, Malus, just see the values, and I'm done on this note. 7.5 or 7.4 billion US dollars deployed for this part of the field, not for others, Malus, for this fields, on a risk entirely borne by us, Malus, the contractor. On this, the government received 1.2 billion. The investment is, Malus, 7.4. They receive 1.4 billion as royalty, as profit petroleum, and as indirect taxes. I hope I'm clear, Malus. Additionally, and this is extremely important, this is what, Malus, is sought to be ignored. Apart from directly receiving, it saved 13.7 billion in subsidies. Malus, the Lordship knows gas is given to the priority sector at subsidized prices. The three priority sectors are fertilizer, power, and city gas distribution. If you have to buy this same gas abroad, the price is 7.2 upwards to $14. Here it is 2.8 to 4.2. So your subsidy saving is 13.7 billion US dollars. And Malus, we got, three of us together over this entire period, 14 years, we got 644 million M, not B, M, as profit petroleum. Everything is, Malus, 5 times audited, 5 times regulated, not once. Next, last page. Page 3, which is for practical purpose, the last page of this. Contractor earned less than 1/4 of its capital cost. Nation saved 22.3 billion in LNG import bill.
Dr. Singhvi, you are quoting these figures. Are these your calculation or admitted figures?
No, these are all in the Whereas that's very important. In 14 years,
Because you are talking about government saving and government differentials.
one or two of these are
Have they been brought on evidence before the tribunals? Or you are just quoting them?
It is part of the arbitration, not an inch of it.
half of these figures are on the record, being the figure which I invested, which I made, and which he made.
the record.
All on record. All, every word. Now, the figure of what he saved in the subsidy to the sectors, obviously, is amount of gas I supplied multiplied by the international price versus the price. That's
for us, and that too in a special leave petition, 136 jurisdiction on an award. To
Very
look
well.
into a document or a calculation which you have not proposed to a witness.
No, all the other
This
figures
is not
are part of
something
the.
which we take judicial notice of.
All the other figures are part of the PSC. The only figure, Your Lordship, is right, which may be macroeconomics, is this
C
part.
is perhaps not a part of your.
Yes, that macro.
What you are saying, royalty is definitely a part.
I leave that figure. Please don't ignore the figure.
But we-
One thing is clear: is large amounts of money are saved by getting gas from me at local prices.
Sir, for that argument, you need to put that question to the witness of the state, that by buying at this rate, you had benefited. If not, we are not going to look into it.
No, Manas, this is not directly an issue in the arbitration.
If not,
This is
you
to
know-
show, because the submissions are coming now, it is to show that from what you get heavily regulated, you benefit a lot.
Singhvi, whether
Because
you
they have tried to
committed
paint me as
theft,
vicious.
whether you committed theft or inadvertently mined gas which was allotted to a field of another entity is not a
That I'll be
consideration on your mens rea.
There I'll be
It is
coming.
a consideration of the terms of the contract
No, I'll
as
be
to
coming
whether
to
you are
that.
entitled to it or
In
you are
this
not.
chart, Manas, everything is on record, save and except the macro figure.
Yes.
Also exclude the macro figure. No problem.
Generally, we appreciate that this kind of projects involve huge investment. There is no doubt about it. That both sides
Huge
must have.
investments and benefits to Manas, whatever, us and them also. That's all. Your Lordship will continue.
Yes, we can do.
एक कॉपी
दोस्तों, रिलायंस और सरकार के बीच का ये गैस विवाद देश के सबसे बड़े कानूनी मामलों में से एक है। माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट में दोनों ही पक्षों ने अपनी बहुत दमदार दलीलें रखी हैं। अब ये पूरा मामला माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने विचाराधीन है और अदालत का जो भी अंतिम फैसला आएगा वह कानून के दायरे में सर्वोपरि होगा। दोस्तों, इस पूरे मामले पर आपकी कीमती राय क्या है, कमेंट्स बॉक्स में जरूर साझा करिए। जय हिंद दोस्तों।